Wrestling fans, Boston Wrestling MWF Summer of 7 p.m., 7 nights a week has exploded online. Join the superstars and legends on Wrestling Insiders every night at 7 p.m. Spread the word. As first reported to our Boston Wrestling MWF family on Patreon, big things are happening as we wrap up our biggest spring ever and kick off our Summer of 7 p.m. beginning Memorial Day night, when brand new Wrestling Insider episodes premiere at 7 p.m., 7 days per week. We also kick off our Make-A-Wish drive in high gear to help grant wishes to awesome kids that have been waiting over a year in many cases. After an Extreme Saturday with New Jack and a Demolition doubleheader with Axe, put the women and children to bed. As fresh from the Shawn Michaels A&E biography, Marty Jannetty returns for a Party with Marty tripleheader, Friday, June 18th, Saturday, June 19th, and then joining us again for the WWE Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, Sunday, June the 20th, taping episodes of Wrestling Insiders, watch-alongs, and cyber autograph signings. It's going to be a huge weekend that demands fan involvement. Head on over to BostonWrestling.com for complete information and pre-ordering option. Let's help keep wrestling legends working and great wrestling talk show content being produced. We can't do it without you. Help us explode into summer, 7 nights a week at 7 p.m. Boston Wrestling Sports and the MWF explodes into a new year of unknown with professional wrestling content galore, and we need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after we review the previous night's Monday Night Raw, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with the unpredictable WWE Hall of Famer, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights after WWE, NXT, and AEW at 10 p.m., you never know who's going to show up on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's No Holds Barred Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll journey through the 80s and 90s on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday nights after the lights go down at the Thunderdome on SmackDown, it's John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. If you want early, ad-free access to all of our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and to help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times, for less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, the Summer of 7 p.m., 7 days a week continues. As before WWE Monday Night Raw kicks off, we are here with the man that almost blew the roof off of Madison Square Garden at WrestleMania 10 in that tag team title matchup. We're talking about the man that led Men on a Mission to Tag Team Championship Gold. The one, the only, the man on a mission himself, Oscar. Oscar, how are you this week, brother?
I'm all right, man. How are you?
As you know, there's never a quiet day here in this place, my friend. I wish instead of hot Atlanta, you were coming to cold Boston. I need you here.
Wow, what happened?
It's never ending. There's always something going on. This place is crazy. These people are crazy. I'm working at a desk, as I've told you, that I think a dwarf would say is too small right now. I have on it the podcast set up, 2 microphones, 2 different extension 6-prong outlets, 3 hard drives, 2 computer monitors, the actual computer itself, a bottle of water, a keyboard, 2 mouses. I mean, I don't know what to do, Oscar. I'm overwhelmed. But you know what? We're getting things done at the end of the day. We find solutions to problems.
You moved from Melrose?
I did?
Oh, you did move from Melrose.
No, the room, you know where where I do my office work?
Yeah.
For whatever reason, they're doing they're redoing the whole room, and it's been nothing but construction, and I'll send you some pictures of everything that I've had to go through. But to accommodate me, as opposed to leaving me in the dark completely, they built me this little miniature table that I sit at, and everyone that sees it thinks it's hysterical that it's such a small table with so much going on. But like I said, at the end of the day, we are still getting things done. Because
Okay, but no.
Oh,
Here's
I'm
the
sorry.
thing.
What do we got?
Are you still at the same building in Melrose? Because there was a thing where you were supposed to switch locations.
That is, I guess, the new ownership of the physical building is run into some legal challenges about that. So we don't have to worry about that for the time being. But for whatever reason, the powers that be in the studio wanted to redecorate and redesign everything, and I hate it. Even I'm sitting behind my new desk, and I hate my new desk too. I may never leave my little midget-sized table. I don't know.
Yeah, but think about what it's going to be when it get finished, though.
All I know, Oscar, is that I am looking forward to knowing that all roads are leading to Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts, Saturday night, November the 13th, as we go back to the 80s for our WrestleFest reunion and because of the coronavirus delays, celebrate 20 years of Boston Wrestling in-ring competition. But I have to ask you, Oscar, as the vice president, I'm sure you heard John Cena Sr.'s big proclamations this week. Him and Marjo Ouellette of Ms. and Mrs. fame are practically stuck to each other like super glue. It's so hot and heavy. But John Cena Sr. is part of the 20th anniversary celebration this fall. Not part of the event November 13th, something separate. He wants to launch this FWW, the Fabulous Women of Wrestling. And I don't know what to think about it, Oscar. Do you think this all-women's platform is a good idea? Do you think Johnny's trying to get Margot a little hot and heavy under the covers? What do you think?
When's the meeting?
When is the next board of directors meeting?
Yeah, when's
Let
the
me
meeting?
take a look. I believe it's coming up on a Tuesday. I believe it's Tuesday, June 15th.
All right, we're gonna do a Zoom call, and we all gonna weigh in. John Cena's lost his damn mind.
Is the peace glue getting into his brain?
Oh God, I thought we settled this.
No, he's ready to launch, like he's ready to launch one into Marjo. But that's
No, no, I thought we took care of this.
Well, for the fans that love women's wrestling, the FWW apparently is coming this fall. Again, it has and I want to stress this, Oscar. I need to stress this. It has nothing to do with what we're doing November the 13th with our Back to the 80s Legends reunion. The FWW, it's going to be a completely separate event, a completely separate platform. I have a feeling I'm still going to get stuck having to do work involved in this, no matter what my personal opinions may be, but John Cena Sr. is a man on a mission right now. He wants these fabulous women of wrestling. Do you think they're fabulous, though, Oscar?
Okay, here, I'm going to tell you how fabulous I think it is. Even though we're all going to be in town, we're all going to be together, we all need to unilaterally boycott that situation, even though we're going to be around.
You think we should all no-show the FWW?
We should all no-show, but just to let him know how serious we are.
This man has driven me crazy, literally, since the day I met him. He and Finn Balor made their MWF debuts on the same date in November of 2005. You might call him a friend of me. Ever since he returned from suspension after David Reese laid the hammer down, he's been a different man somewhat. Cam Zagami and his Uprising faction. Cam Zagami played the game. John, and I don't want to talk too much about the MWF on your talk show, but it's worth noting Cam Zagami played the game. He competed on Fox Network's John Cena reality show, American Grit. And he made a handsome amount of money being on that reality show. And he's using the money he made off of Cena Jr.'s Fox reality show to screw with Cena Sr. here in the MWF. And whether you like Zagami or hate Zagami like most do, he's been very effective.
Okay, well, what he need to do is he need to focus his energy and some of that money on the boycott and disillusion and disembowel this silly notion that Cena got that he think that this is gonna work. Shut this down before shut it down before it shuts you down. Because this is disaster written all over the place.
I don't know. I don't think it's going to be the success that Reese's Pieces is out in Vegas, but I guess that's a different story for a different time.
And then where is he in all this?
Who?
Reese.
Reese is with all of his women out in Vegas trying to get this gentleman's club launched.
No, seriously, what is his position on what this is that Cena is trying to do?
You know what? I have to say this. Reese is a very wise man. He's a very smart man. But Reese understands that controversy stirs the pot. It creates attention. He likes the fact that Zagami has the money that he made off of Cena Jr.'s American Grit reality show on Fox. He likes the fact that Zagami and Cena Sr. are at each other's throats. Our conversations have been very, very limited about the fabulous women of wrestling. I have a feeling we're in for a hell of a board meeting on June 15th. We might have to do a follow-up show after the board of directors meeting.
No, okay, my question is,
what do you got?
Because I have not talked to Reese about this, what is his official position on this venture? This is what I'm asking you.
About the all-women's promotion?
Yes. What is his position on it?
He said he wants to have complete details, a complete presentation made, which I guess is what we're going to see that at the board of directors meeting June 15th.
Oh, God, that is so Reese. Okay.
On the 15th, Reese said we're going to sit down and Cena Sr. and his legal people are going to have a presentation to make. It's going to be a hell of a week between that board of directors meeting and then Marty Jannetty coming to town. My dear Lord. My dear Lord. I tell you, what little hair I have left is falling out at the seams, Oscar. The only person I think that's working harder than me is you out in Indiana trying to put a smile on Dreamy Mimi's face.
Oh, well, that's ongoing.
What is Mimi doing to put you to work, Oscar?
Oh, well, she didn't put me to work. I took the initiative. I cleaned her beauty shop.
You cleaned her beauty shop?
Yeah, as best as I could.
Wow. Well, I'm very impressed by that, Oscar. You know, we're going to have to get a plug-in on Dream. Well, you know, once you have the new establishment set up when you move down to Georgia, as you know, on our talk shows, we love to plug our good friends Noel Salon at 347 Pleasant Street, downtown Malden, Massachusetts, a hop, skip, and a jump away from the Malden Center T-Stop for all your hair needs in the Boston area. Like, dear Lord, what's the guy's name from Aerosmith? Steven Tyler? Is that his name?
Well, wait. See, here's the thing, though. You were a bit late when it comes down to plugging her salon. She retired this week.
Who retired this week?
Dreamy Mimi retired.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Noel at noelsalon.com. I was going to say, where am I going to get my hair done?
Yeah, Dreamy Mimi retired.
Why did she retire?
Yeah, you'd have to ask her that.
All right. Well, maybe she's going to be involved in the FWW. Maybe she's having meetings with Cena Senior that we don't even know about.
Yeah, maybe so.
Dear Lord. Well, what is Mimi's venture going to be once you guys make it to Hotlanta? Is she just going to focus?
Okay, see, you know what? These are questions you'd have to talk to her.
You don't even know.
You don't, like I said, I can't speak for other people. You have to talk to her.
Well, hopefully Mimi's going to be in town for the board of directors meeting, because sometimes I think a woman's point of view is a good thing.
Well, no, you know what? We are exactly right. Well, you got a ton of stuff to ask her, so when she get time, you know. Yeah, hit her with all these questions because she'll tell you.
Well, like I said, I think we should put together a show following this board of directors meeting about everything going on with the anniversary event, the 80s reunion in Cena Senior's Fabulous Women of Wrestling. But speaking of the world of professional wrestling outside of the craziness here in Boston Wrestling MWF, let's take a look, Oscar. I mean, this is yet another week of big news across all areas of our genre.
Braun Strowman? Are you kidding me?
No. It's not an
Braun
April Fool's
Strowman.
joke.
Now, he was one of the premier headliners in the territory. Why cut him? I mean, I don't even I can't even go through scenarios of why that made sense.
This is a man, he was in the main event of WrestleMania last year, defeating
Right.
Goldberg for the Universal Championship. And now he's out the door. You could see him, who knows, at the 20th anniversary event down the street at Memorial Hall. How sad is that? How the mighty have fallen with Braun Strowman.
Now, see, here's where it gets real. Everybody in that locker room, I don't care what what corner Vince pulled you to the side, and when he whispered in your ear and told you, everybody can see that anybody can go at any given moment.
I think it was proven this week.
So
I think
I don't care if you Orton. I don't care if you Lashley. I don't care who you are. I don't care if Cena right now ain't worried about it. He's getting Fast and Furious 9 getting ready to come out. He's gonna make a ton of money.
He's not worried about WWE.
He's gonna make a ton of money with that situation. But his contract can be up in jeopardy too.
Well, I was just, that one really shocked me. You know, we'll talk about the other releases, but I think ultimately, Oscar, between that, about another 60 people released from Titan Towers, there's been a major shakeup there. As everybody was getting ready to go back to work, they slashed a few dozen employees. It makes you wonder, everybody's chattering now, could you see a sale of WWE? Is WWE trying to trim as much as they can off of their payroll and expenses to make those quarterly investors meetings show as much profit as possible? So whether it be NBC, whether it be ABC, Disney, or whatever media entity may be interested in owning the company, it looks as good as possible on paper. Do you think that that is where we're headed, Oscar?
I can see where it would make philosophical and fiscal sense. The only reason why I would think that it could never happen is because I know what that company means to Vince. I cannot see him letting control of the WWE go to anybody under any circumstances. And I don't think he's hurting for money in order to have that happen.
Well, you remember Ted DiBiase's old saying, and it's funny because Ted has been appearing on NXT lately, but everybody's got a price. How many billion would it take to buy WWE? And
everybody's got a price. But see, that's the thing. I don't think it's about money with him.
Well, to me, other than that, it seems like everybody's lost their mind. Just take a look between now and if you go back to when coronavirus began, just look at the amount of talent that they've let go. How fresh and more interesting would those TV shows be if they had those extra 40 or so bodies around? I think it would make for a much better television product.
Yeah, but they will let go of talent way before they let go of the company proper.
Well, let's take a look at the releases themselves, and maybe we'll go back to the sale. Strowman, I think it was just a case of buyer's remorse. He is someone that is certainly, I think it's fair to say, has been overexposed on television. We did a talk show, Wrestling Insiders, Stern but Fair, yesterday, and I got to tell you, who was left for Strowman to work that he hasn't worked yet? I can't think of anyone on either brand that's a top talent that Strowman hasn't had a big feud with, because, again, it goes back to the fact where so many talents are overexposed. I mean, he was just in the triple threat main event at WrestleMania Backlash last month. So, I mean, to say
That's why I'm shocked. That's why I'm shocked about the situation. But you do make a good point.
And also, again, buyer's remorse. Strowman was one of those guys that signed a big renewal for big money right at the time when AEW launched in October of 2019, and right at the time those new mega deals kicked in with the USA Network and Fox for Raw and SmackDown. And WWE was practically bleeding money at that point in a very positive way. It was like a waterfall. It was a cash flow that wouldn't end until coronavirus came. But, I mean, for someone to get usually the top of the line outside of a very select handful is a downside guarantee of $1 million a year. I was told Strowman's was even higher than that. So I think almost in a situation similar to Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson last year, they cashed in almost too much. They won. They gambled and won too much money from the casinos, so to speak, and WWE found him expendable.
Well, the one thing that you have got to realize in business as in life, the house always wins.
Right. Yeah.
So no matter who get let go or what they do, the company is not going to be hurting. And one of the things that they have done, and I am proud of this vernacular of business, is they have an endless pool of talent to snatch up and develop no matter who gets let go. They got a whole factory assembly line of talent that they can endless. I mean, you got all those people they train at the Performance Center, everybody at NXT, and the NXT cats are developing very well. You can take a whole handful of them and make them gigantic stars overnight.
Well, you don't make a bad point.
They're not losing much.
I got to say this, though, Oscar, not to get off track from the releases, but, we go back to New York, Long Island, New York, just a couple of days before Christmas in 2015. We had Not Your Mama's Wrestling, someone that's competed here in Boston Wrestling MWF in Cam Zagami's Uprising. You were right there at Memorial Hall at our last live event when he defeated Trey Lamar. This week on WWE NXT, facing Kushida in the open challenge for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship was the former Christian Casanova, now in WWE known as Carmelo Hayes. So very big night for Christian / Carmelo. An athlete I got to know in and out of the ring, inside the ring, with some of his antics, kind of a scumbag, but if you knew the man's backstory, his life experiences, and so on, I was very proud to see him competing on a WWE television platform this week. Your thoughts on seeing the former Christian Casanova of the Uprising, now Carmelo Hayes, challenging for a championship in his debut match on NXT?
I mean, when people exude talent and that talent gets recognized, that talent's going to get rewarded. So I'm not surprised at all, and I'm real proud. But let his development be slow and methodical to where he lasts for a while. You know me and that. You know me and the Ryback syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
You know how I feel about it.
Yep.
Don't give him too much too soon. I would love to see when he get that title shot, he need to lose.
Well, he did lose. He
Oh,
answered
well.
he answered Kushida's open challenge on NXT this week. But again, to me, as someone that has known him, as someone that has worked with us, as someone that I got to know outside of wrestling, I am very, very proud of the human being. Do I agree with some of the things he did when he signed on with Cam Zagami's Uprising, trying to cause havoc inside the squared circle? No, I do not. But outside of the auspices of professional wrestling, the human being outside of wrestling, I am very happy and very proud of him. Very proud of him. And I'm sure you must feel the same, where you saw so much of his development over the past few years as the vice president.
Like I said, slow and low. Slow and low.
That's how Reese likes it with his pieces.
Well,
slow and
I
low.
don't know. Reese need to pay attention to what's going on inside his own company.
Well, he's got to worry about John Cena Sr., not Reese's Pieces.
We all have to worry about John Cena Sr. Christ, I was feeling good until you mentioned his name again.
Well, I tell you, it just seemed like everything was on an upswing, and then on his Wrestling Insider Fabulous Friday show, he dropped the bomb that he's ready to launch the FWW, and he's not going to do it on his own. He wants to have it become a Boston wrestling sports platform, and that's what has me worried, because I don't know what is going to happen with it. Again, we have that big board of directors meeting. It doesn't seem like we're going to be seeing Christian Casanova, a.k.a. Carmelo Hayes, anytime soon. Oscar, is a former WWE talent, other than slow and low, what advice might you give Christian?
Well, my advice is to get along with the people in the back. That would be my number one thing, because that can make you and break you inside or outside the ring. And there are so many people that have not followed that advice, and they live to regret it 10 times over.
I agree with you on that one.
My other piece of advice is try as much as you can to have say-so and input in your own creative development. That is very important, because if you get made into what you want them to be, you ain't never gonna make it.
You think he should be vocal in a respectful way?
Oh, well, it's got to be in a respectful way. I mean, don't get me wrong. He can't stick his chest out and say, I want to be this. They're not going to listen to him. But he needs to have a game plan in his head as far as what he wants to be and how he wants to be it, and then present it that way.
Well, I'll tell you this. I was very proud of some of the comments that Triple H put up on Twitter about him following that match. To me, he was always someone that exuded talent. I thought he needed to get a little bit thicker, and then you know what? He showed up on NXT TV, and he was probably 15, 20 pounds of muscle thicker, and I just very proud of him. I wish he went about things a different way here in Boston Wrestling. I wish maybe he tried to become a fan favorite a little bit more than he did, as opposed to worrying about Cam Zagami and the cash, but those were the decisions that he made. Anyway, back to the releases, Oscar. What about Aleister Black? There was a guy that came up from NXT. He had that cool entrance with the coffin. The fans really took to him. They decided to bring up Aleister Black, Ricochet, Johnny Gargano, and Tommaso Ciampa at the same time in early 2019. And I have to say, I've had this conversation with current WWE talents, and I hate to say it because it's a horrible, horrible thing, so please let me state the whole thought. I think the best thing that happened to Tommaso Ciampa was that he broke his neck and was out of commission for so long, and that Johnny Gargano went back to NXT. I mean, look at the career paths of Ricochet and Aleister Black, from how hot they were when they came up from NXT in the spring of 2019. Now Ricochet is generally in no man's land, and he's one of the finest talents in professional wrestling. And Aleister Black, he started off with that great cool coffin entrance, and then, who's going to knock at my door for a fight? And then he went into no man's land, especially after his wife, Zelina Vega, had the issues she had last fall. Now the man's out of a job, and I thought he was a very intriguing talent for the future.
He was an intriguing talent, but see, here go the problem. The problem is, as talented as you are, maybe you don't need to leave the nest of NXT when you leave it. Because it is a big responsibility and a huge calling to go up into the main roster, especially when the main roster don't have a slot for you. And as talented as Aleister Black was, there was no place on the main roster for him to be.
Well, I don't know what his future plans are, Oscar, but I'll tell you this. I know Braun Strowman is someone that no matter what he does is going to come with a very hefty price tag. What would you think about someone like Aleister Black coming to Boston Wrestling MWF? As the VP, I mean, do you want to state on the record now as vice president before the board of directors meeting when we discuss some of these things, or would you want to talk about it now?
Well, first of all, we would have to have a discussion as to do we have Aleister Black money?
Well, we don't know what Aleister Black money is right now, I guess is the best way to put it.
Okay, I'm going to tell you. Aleister Black money is more than we might could afford because Aleister Black money is, I'm fresh off TV. I got a fresh off TV price tag.
Well, like I said, I think. Do you agree that you think Strowman will probably be out of our league?
Oh no, we would have to hit up Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy and our mothers, and my mother's deceased in order to get the introductory check for Braun Strowman. No, we cannot. No.
Well, maybe if the Gentleman's Club is a success, maybe President Reese could contribute a little more. I don't know.
Yeah, well, no, even then the pieces can't generate that kind of money.
They'd have to do a lot of dancing out in Vegas.
I wouldn't take that meeting because I wouldn't want to get my feelings hurt at the table.
Well, another mail that was released, a guy that they put him in a faction with Seth Rollins and the Authors of Pain in late 2019. The faction went nowhere. Then he was kind of schmoozing with Rey Mysterio's daughter. It looked like romance was in the air for the man, and then that was quickly dropped. Murphy was released this week by WWE. Your thoughts on that? A very, to me, talented hand in the ring, but other than that, wasn't someone oozing personality or interview skills. He was just someone that could go out and present very, very skilled, very good wrestling matches.
Yeah, but see, you know what? Now you talking us having a shot because how can I put it? Murphy was you see. Here's the thing, man. You can have in-ring talent, all the in-ring talent on the planet, but if you're not a star in no semblance, way, shape, or form, then the price on your toe tag is going to be very, 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 very. You talking short coin.
Short coin.
So,
all right.
So Murphy we might have a shot.
Well, and then you have three lovely ladies that were released from contract as well, Oscar. You had one I was surprised they even announced, where she never even made her main roster debut, Santana Garrett, who we know from the Cauliflower Alley Club, Ruby Riott, as well as Lana. Three ladies released at the same time. Your thoughts on those ladies, Oscar, and perhaps could they be headed to John Cena Sr.'s Fabulous Women's of Wrestling platform?
Okay, well, Lana lost all her credibility when she dropped her accent. So
no kidding, right?
She was on a slow boat to the bottom ever since then.
She had an anchor around her waist every time she got in the pool.
Now, as far as Ruby Riott go, I never liked Ruby Riott.
No,
I never got the point.
You don't want her in the FWW.
Yeah, she can go to the FWW. That's John Cena Senior's call.
Well, it's still going to be under our brand, though, I think is what we have to be concerned about. You have to remember, look at 10 years ago, no, a little more than 10 years ago now. John Cena, let me get this out. John Cena Sr. pulled off the ultimate coup, Oscar. He was able to convince the board of directors to move everything we did down to North Carolina, where the overhead was cheaper, to present the live events was cheaper. I have to say at that point, it was easier to draw a bigger crowd down in the Carolinas with the passionate fan base they had, but he screwed over everybody in Boston in the meantime. Then, that part of the Carolinas was hit by those horrible hurricanes, and they were buried underwater, and then Johnny got in the jet, and he left those people in North Carolina hanging pretty bad. And it wasn't the Titanic. He didn't leave any life rafts.
I would welcome Ruby Riott and Lana both with open arms from a business standpoint, and I would tell you why. That fresh off of TV smell that they have.
Really?
That fresh off TV smell right now is going to put asses in seats, and it'll do it until the novelty wear off. And will the novelty wear off eventually? Oh, yes, it will.
Of course.
But right now, it's a pretty warm commodity.
Well, let me ask you, Oscar, before we go to the break, surprised by any of those releases? Disappointed by any of those releases? Happy about any of those releases?
Oh, Braun Strowman! Oh, I lost sleep over that. That one caught me by the throat.
Well, other than that, though, really no surprises to you on the list.
Nah,
All right, well, wrestling fans, it's going to be interesting to see if we interact with any of those great talents. What are your thoughts on the releases? Share your thoughts in the Premier Chat box, or if you're not watching with us during the live kickoff before Raw, leave your thoughts in the comment section below, because you matter. Without professional wrestling fans, we have no show. As always, we ask you, give us a big thumbs up if you're having fun with us tonight. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube. It's absolutely free. We have 2,000 plus free videos. And if you could, share the link across social media. Put it out on Facebook and Twitter and Reddit, Facebook wrestling groups, wrestling websites. We got to get Oscar better about even promoting the show as it's going on Monday night at 7. But that's a different story for a different time. Right now, we're going to take a brief time out. When we come back, we'll have more of the man on a mission. Stand by. Wrestling fans, I'm Dan Marty.
And this is the man of the hour, Leo Rush.
It was all over BostonWrestling.com and our social media. But Leo, brother, they got to check out some of this merch.
They got to.
Check it out, fans, right now, available on eBay. As the Demon, he became the first WWE Universal Champion at SummerSlam 2016. Here's your chance to own this limited edition collector's autographed art print, personally signed by Finn Balor, one of only 50 made, direct from our friends at WWE. Also signed by original artist Rob Schamberger. Help keep wrestling legends working. Get this awesome collectible for your wrestling collection now.
Cheer! Why, hello! I would ask what was on your mind, but I already know. You want to know what has got my beard looking oh so majestic. And I'll tell you, it's sexy as hell beard care. Coconut oil, vitamin E oil, almond oil, both sweet and bitter, shea butter, it's all natural. Yes, JTG has actually come out with a high quality product. So support your boy by going to sahbeardcare.com and take one step closer to becoming sexy as
wrestling fans, especially here in the Boston area. We want to thank our great friends at Red Rose for their support for all of our charitable endeavors and programming efforts. Red Rose is 2 years young and extremely thankful for all the support they've had from our neighbors here in Melrose and beyond for an amazing first 2 years. Red Rose thanks Melrose and all of the first responders who have fought the good fight and have never given up hope during these unprecedented times. We did it together. Follow Red Rose on Facebook for their anniversary special, facebook.com/Red Rose Melrose. You'll be glad you did. Open until 2 a.m. Red Rose will give you fresh, piping hot, mouth-watering food that'll put an ear-to-ear smile on even the toughest critic's face. Check out their full menu online at redrosema.com or give them a call, 781-620-1889. Wrestling fans, welcome back to the Monday Night Raw kickoff that we call Wrestling Insider's Monday Night Mission with the man on a mission himself, Oscar. Very happy to be joined by the manager of the former tag team champions, we should say. We've been talking about the WWE releases if you're tuning in late. Want to send out a quick thank you to our friends over at Red Rose, just a few doors down from us at 444 Main Street here in Melrose. So check out their full menu. RedRoseMA.com. The food is delicious, great people to work with. They've been helping with some of our charitable endeavors. Also want to note that for the fans that wanted to see the final interviews of the late New Jack, Jerome Young, that he taped 6 days before his passing, the first episode is available as a Patreon exclusive right now at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Along with the New Jack episode, you get early ad-free access to Wrestling Insiders. You get the studio shoot interview DVD library. You get Patreon exclusive videos. And more than anything, you have the knowledge that you're helping keep wrestling legends working. Again, patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. In that first episode, New Jack absolutely unloads on Abdullah the Butcher, Brian Knobbs of the Nasty Boys, and Mr. USA Tony Atlas. So it is what we like to call must-see TV, again, over on the Patreon. The link can be found in the description box below. As we continue to get things ready, get back in business, get back on the road, news is broken, Oscar, that SummerSlam is going to be in one of our favorite places, Sin City, on a Saturday night, no less, not a Sunday. Is traditional. We'd have it going back to SummerSlam has been a Sunday tradition since 1995. SummerSlam's going to be on a Saturday this year, Oscar. What are your thoughts on that?
Now, why do you propose they did that?
I have no idea, because you have one of the biggest boxing fights of the year taking place the same night in the same city. Where is the media going to be focused? Is it going to be on SummerSlam or is it going to be on Pacquiao?
No, well, like I said last show, I think SummerSlam has a really, really, really good chance of getting a beyond decent media presence, simply because it hasn't had the pandemic has affected it, and so now it's coming back. Number one, and number two, as far as Pacquiao go, I mean, Pacquiao's old news. I mean, like I said, if it was a Pacquiao fight in Pacquiao's prime, you would have a problem. But I really don't think nobody cares.
You're not worried about it.
Man, who the hell is this he's fighting?
I'm not that big of a boxing fan. I just know that in the world of sports, it's kind of a big deal, and I find it odd that not only are they changing the date to a Saturday, but to change it to the date of a Saturday when there's so much going on in the same city. I don't know. I mean, and you have to think. Let's call a spade a spade. Professional wrestling is not a major market for Las Vegas. Vegas itself isn't a major market. I mean, if SummerSlam was going to be held, let's say, at the football stadium, MetLife Stadium in New York, I think you'd have a fair chance of having a great crowd. I think when you're talking about Vegas, where it's kind of a smaller market, even though it is Sin City, there's a heck of a lot going on in Sin City with some world-class entertainment. And then in addition to that, what's the closest major market nearby that they're going to draw from? Los Angeles is 4 hours away. San Diego, where David Reese is 5 hours away. Phoenix, Arizona is 4 hours away. Where are you going to get these 70,000 people from? Are they going to want to fly in 115-degree heat for SummerSlam? I don't know.
No, you're looking at it the wrong way. I think because Vegas is the premier vacation destination, you're going to be surprised on the numbers that they're going to get. I mean, they have the SummerSlam packages, and they rely on people coming to SummerSlam and WrestleMania from all over the world. So, in that regard, it is not unfathomable for people to want to plan a Vegas vacation, you know, pack up all their buddies and all that and go to Las Vegas for this event. I think the town with both the events is going to do phenomenally well as far as a big cash infusion, which they desperately need. And I think a lot of people are going to make a SummerSlam vacation, a reality for them. So I don't think it's a bad move.
70,000 seat stadium, Oscar. How many people you think show up?
Maybe 50.
All right, well, 50,000, that's not a bad night at the office, but I think you have the luxury of maybe some of the casinos buying up some of the tickets to give out as comps. You know how that works, where you've been such a Vegasite your whole life. But even at that, even if you get the bodies in the stadium, it doesn't make them the most passionate group. If you look back at WrestleMania 9, a lot of the tickets that were given out were comps from some of the casinos, and it was kind of a crowd that, other than Hogan, they weren't familiar with too many of the talents.
Yeah, but they still had the numbers. I mean, at the end of the day, who cares whether they stomp their feet and clap their hands?
Well, you don't want to have a 4-hour show with people sitting on their hands either at the same time.
No, you don't. But I mean, it's a red herring. You don't. But at the same time, once the objective is met, do it really matter? I mean, you would rather not have that, but at the same time, you got to think about it. Who cares?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, you want it looking good, but you also want it sounding good, too. It's going to be very interesting to see how things go with WWE back on the road.
You want it looking good, you want it sounding good, but once I got your money, I don't give a good rat's ass if you clap or not.
Well, I mean, you also want it to make it look like the fans are having a good time. I mean, who's going to want to go in the future if it's silent for 4 hours?
Well, see, that here's where the problem. Here's where it's not a problem.
All right.
If the fans don't look good in Vegas when I bring it to Madison Square Garden, they're gonna make up for it.
All right. Well, it's going to be a very, very interesting summer with WWE back on the road. 25 events between July the 16th and Labor Day weekend. How do you think things are going to go, Oscar, now that they've released kind of that complete schedule? I mean, do you think the fans are going to be clamoring to get back out for live action? Do you think there's going to be a little hesitation? How do you think the numbers are going to look for WWE once they are officially back on the road in about, 5 weeks or so from now?
Well, I think they need to open the damn office. I want to go when they come to Chicago.
Oh, that's yeah. They are going to be in Chi-Town. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. They come to Chicago August 2nd.
I've got to figure out who's who and what's what. As we mentioned earlier in the show, I believe 60 office workers will let go this week. So there's transitions going on in every department. I need to kind of take stock of what's going on and try and get some scoops this week, if nothing else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we got to see if we have any friends.
We got to see if we have any friends left. I hate to say it. My God, a horrible thing. But 60 people, that's a lot of people.
You hate to call up there and they'd be like, okay, I'm sorry, you're who again?
Well, at least you're one of the alumni, brother. My run was 9 months, and it had nothing to do with on-screen talent, that's for sure. But we'll get there. I know they asked me before these releases. I helped them on a little secret undercover mission, but I don't know. I'm going to have to follow up and see what information I can get. Hopefully, everyone that has been released by WWE, whether they be an in-ring talent or an office worker, hopefully they land on their feet. They wind up in a good position somewhere, whether it be professional wrestling or otherwise. There's a lot of good people that work there. Is one
of your friends Ben Brown?
I wouldn't call him a friend. I know him. Was he released?
No.
Oh,
no.
okay. Good.
No, yeah, I don't think he's gonna be, but I'm just saying, if you know Ben Brown, then I think you're all right.
All right, well, good, good. Also on the docket, Oscar, I don't remember if we talked about this last week or if it hit the news wire yet, but any thoughts on the rumors about WWE trying to do a little work with New Japan?
We did talk
We
about
did.
that.
Okay, I apologize.
No. We did talk about that, and I have given it some thought. And my thing is, I just hope that on the WWE side of things, that they're more open minded than they used to be years ago.
Mm-hmm. And what do you
I
mean
mean,
by that?
okay, well, the open mindedness, closed mindedness, and not, are not willing to on both sides,
Mm-hmm.
not willing to come to some realistic uh, 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 um, a realistic deal, and the egos on both sides is how a WWE versus WCW clash didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, uh, Ted Turner talking about he want to own a piece of the WW of the WWF at that time, and Vince like hell no, so that's what killed that. But I'm thinking, all right, if Ted Turner get a more realistic view of life, of course that man is not going to sell you a piece of his company. And Vince saying, I'm not going to sell you a piece of the company, but we can still do a deal instead of getting pissed off and killing the deal, then that would have made a different outcome. So I'm saying that to say that if if they have a complete open mind as to the structure of a deal to make that happen, then it could happen. But if not, then it's gonna be WWE versus WCW. It didn't happen all over again.
Well, I don't know how many fans would be clamoring for a New Japan WWE working relationship. I don't know how successful it would be. Again, that's one man's opinion. I think it's tough where you have a lot of guys where they don't speak English, their names are tough to pronounce. Obviously, to me, it's always moderation is the key. You know what I mean? There is some outstanding world-class talent that's better than a lot of the wrestlers in WWE over in New Japan. But as we've seen, anytime WWE has ever debuted a large amount of people at the same time, it usually leads to failure. Look at every big faction they've ever tried to debut. Or like in the cases of WCW and ECW, even brands that were destroyed in a matter of months. The creative was so bad.
Egos will be tested because, like I said last show, the the Japanese talent is a lot more superior than a lot of the American talent going over that's over here, and I don't know how that's gonna play with the egos going on with these superstars that we got over here.
Well, it was very interesting to see Tony Khan's respond to the news of these rumors on Twitter in an interview he did with Tony Schiavone, where New Japan seems to have kind of a pretty decent relationship with AEW right now. You know what I'd find funny, Oscar? We talked about NBC and ABC possibly being in the hunt for WWE. If you look at it on paper, the Khan family has more money than WWE. Could you see Tony Khan in AEW try and make a play for Vince in WWE?
That is okay. That's never gonna happen.
You don't think he'd ever sell to the quote
Oh
unquote competition?
no. And there's not a dollar amount that there's not a dollar amount that to make that happen. You got to remember something. that's the way Vince absorbed everybody else. So you think he's going to turn around and let it be done to him? Ain't enough money in the world.
Well, again, we're just throwing a few fantasy thoughts out there. Speaking of AEW, one thing that is not fantasy, it is now reality, Oscar, before we go tonight. Very happy to see on this past Friday night the debut in AEW of Andrade, the former Andrade Almas of WWE. He's going to be guided by Vicky Guerrero, who hasn't had a lot to do in AEW as of now. I think it's the perfect pairing. I think they did a great job introducing Andrade. He was completely wasted by creative in WWE, whether his English was as crisp as ours or maybe needed a little work. A world-class talent, I think in the right situation, he's someone that could have been a main event heel on either Raw or SmackDown, and instead was just completely wasted. So disappointed to see him leave WWE. Happy that he's getting a chance in AEW to showcase his skills to the professional wrestling world. Your thoughts?
He better have got a job if he wanted to save his relationship.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a little stiff, Oscar. You think Charlotte would be manhunting if he didn't get a job?
I'm sorry, but that's exactly what I. That's exactly what I
Wow! Talk about stiff, Oscar. I can't believe you said that. I think it's hysterical.
Well, I'm there, but I mean, how many relationships do you see fold when the two people are not on an even keel?
Very true. But you know what I find interesting is look at how many cross-promotion relationships there are, or were, I should say, before some of the before some of the releases came, where you had, one member of the partner in WWE, the other partner in AEW, and it's kind of interesting to see how that's happened. Even right now, you look at Aleister Black, you imagine he's going to wind up somewhere, and there's been a lot of talk of Zelina Vega returning to WWE, where she's been working out at the Performance Center. Very interesting. It's an interesting time in our sport overall, but in your opinion, where do you think Andrade winds up on the food chain in AEW? Could you see him as a top guy there or no?
Not right away.
You think they'll have to build him?
I think if you know what, like I said, and I can't stress this enough, if he's smart, he wants to be built. But interesting point. I think that if WWE, once they settle in and once the stink of the pandemic wear off, money start to get built up, you're going to see them bring some people back.
You think they're going to go after some of their own free agents?
Well, they not of AEW done sucked everybody up.
All right, well. All right, Oscar, again, very interesting week in the world of wrestling. Anything to add before we wrap up the show tonight? Anything interesting going on in your world? Any big bookings coming up?
Nah, you know what? I'm pretty much taking it easy.
You're taking it easy. Well, I know you have that big signing in September coming up. I remember that.
Yeah, I got the signing in September. Like I said, I've been saying I'm working on this huge project for a political action committee called the Staunch Moderates. That's going pretty smooth.
Oh, good.
It's a thing like everybody else. It's a waiting game. The pandemic is smoothing out. We're flattening the curve, as they say. We're opening up. So, as we open up, we'll see what opportunities open up for everybody.
Well, if fans are interested, they can reach out to you on social media or even shoot us an email at bw@bostonwrestling.com. We'd be happy to set something up with you and Oscar for an autograph signing, a seminar, or something along those lines. You have limited availability, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, well, no, I mean...
You have no availability.
No, I'm open for everything. I mean, no. I'm open for it all. So fans out there, like I said, since the pandemic is opening up, I got both my shots, so I'm confident to get out. And I want to get out. The weather done broke. That's the other really really great thing about the world. The weather done broke. It's 80 something odd degrees out here in Indiana.
I don't know about you, but Memorial Day weekend last weekend, we barely hit 50 degrees. And this weekend, it's in the 90s. So you really never know what to expect.
Well, I believe some of them set in.
You think
So
it's officially summertime?
some of them set in. Unfortunately, in Indiana, it only lasts for 4 weeks.
Well,
But that's why I'm moving to Atlanta.
is there any news about the move to Hotlanta?
No, not yet.
No.
We're taking it slow. We're still looking at places to live. So
So you haven't made the official move yet, but you're still planning
no,
it out.
no, we haven't made the official move yet, but we going.
He's headed out. All right, wrestling fans. Well, we are running out of time now. If you need Oscar for any personal appearances, anything like that, shoot us an email, bw@bostonwrestling.com. Again, don't forget, it is the summer of 7 p.m. We have a brand new premiere every night of the week at 7 p.m. on our YouTube channel. We're trying to set up replays after the wrestling show of the night. I know our West Coast fans, some of them were a little disappointed now that the shows are premiering so early. It's tough to try and make everybody happy, but we want to at least try and get you used to the new time slot. So some nights we're going to have the same episode premiere twice to try and accommodate everybody. Again, the new Jack, you've got to check out his series. The final 6 interviews he did before he passed away, 6 days before he died. The first one is available now, again, at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. We will see you next Monday, same bad time, same bad station. For my partner in crime, the man on a mission himself, Oscar, I'm Dan Marati. Until we speak again, folks, you and yours, be well, stay healthy. Good night. The World Wrestling Federation was live at the Baltimore Civic Center in Baltimore, Maryland, Saturday, June the 7th, 1980. In the opening contest, Jose Estrada beat Paul Figueroa. Davey O'Hannon with the win over Danny Patiglio. Larry Sharp defeated Steve King. Baron Mikel Cicluna victorious over Moose Monroe. Ernie Ladd beat El Olympico. WWF Tag Team Champions, the Wild Samoans, retain the titles over Pat Patterson and Dominic DeNucci. And in the main event, Bruno Sammartino defeated Larry Zbyszko via countout. If you were in Baltimore live, share your memories in the comment section below. Use the links in the description box to keep Wrestling Legends working in our eBay store and on our world-renowned Patreon streaming service so we can bring you more interactive superstar shoot interviews to relive the good old days of professional wrestling. Check it out. Boston Wrestling Sports in the MWF explodes into a new year with professional wrestling content galore and need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after our Monday Night Raw review, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. after NXT and AEW, join rotating legends on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's No Holds Barred Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll journey on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday night after SmackDown, don't miss John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, history videos, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. For less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, get early ad-free access to our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times. Join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021.